HexHeart Podcast. I want to make some earlier sessions about some things that were said about our podcast and the HexHeart promotion. There was a lot of misconstruction that was over the past couple of weeks, and we got hacked a couple times. Like, boy, wasn't that fun. We also had a couple times someone pop in and say that that we were supposed to. There was a lot of things that were said, and a lot of things that didn't make sense. So, I will have you say, will have you know that the understanding that Hex was supposed to come on here was correct, but he got busy, super busy. So he's not going to be on this one. I'm shocked. I'm surprised. He usually likes making surprise showings. But let's go ahead and get ready for our main guest, which I'm excited. And once again, it's going to be the one and only Johnny Helvete from Ununoctium. And I've been dying to redo this one because this one is. He's one of my favorite guests so far, so let's bring him out. Hey, what's up, guy? How's it going? There you go. Getting prepared for it. There you go.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I've got everything set up. Got a whole room prepared for this. We're definitely gonna make this a lot better than the last one, and I really apologize for we not had to cut that one out. So let's go ahead and start off with dude. You're the singer for Ununoctium. You're also the singer for plenty of other bands, including there's the couple of them that I actually looked into, and it was clearly you. I mean, you have a trademark on the bands that you came out of, and that is an honor in the metal scene. So I thank you for your contributions, as well as for taking the time for being on with me.
No problem. You do the things you love, and when you love it that much, there's a level of passion that nothing can kill. So with that, yeah, you just literally do what you love. Do the things that will absolutely make you a better person inside, and make you, well, unlike me, half the time can live with yourself.
There you go. I got you. So tell me. So go ahead and tell me. I think what I would be the best way of starting off here would tell us the history of how your bands came together.
Okay. Shit. Well, I suppose start from the beginning. I'd been involved with a number of local projects back in my hometown up in Ukiah. There was one band I was part of. I was mostly the death metal side of it, because the other guys kind of played. Oh shit! If I could refer to it as anything, it was basically hippie ska, which is a weird mix for me to be in, but nonetheless. And this is going to sound really shitty, but when they brought up the idea of using my amp in my absence to run turntables, I'm out. That was it. So the matter of fact, I still got the amp they wanted me to use, or wanted me to let them use. I'm looking at it right now. Kind of funny.
Right.
History, I guess. But after that, I started making appearances in San Francisco at different shows. My first legitimate death metal show was Impaled, Origin, and Vader. And during Origin's set, all night, every band kept fucking with each other. And since Impaled were in their hometown or their home area, all the other bands decided to fuck with them. First off, little bit of incident that not a whole lot of people know, but at one point, about 2 weeks into the tour, all the guys from Impaled got into the trailer for the band Origin, where they had their equipment, and covered everything in mulch.
Oh no!
Yeah. And the guys, even though they were all from Kansas at the time, Paul Ryan's in San Francisco now. You know, he's obviously relocated. But as it all turns out, they didn't get angry. They were really cool about it, which was surprising. But the other shoe fell when they got to San Francisco the last day of the tour, and they came running out and started throwing just talcum powder and anything they could and anything they could find in the kitchen: ketchup, mustard, mayo, flour, salt, whatever the hell it was. And they came out and just covered the guys during their set. They weren't
gonna get out of that one unscathed for sure.
Right, but whole point why I brought that up was during Origin's set, the frontman for Impaled, Sean McGrath, he came running out and he put the steel salad bowl over the singer at that point in time's head, and that was James Lee. And I'm standing in the front. I'm pissed drunk, and I'm having a fucking blast. So at that point, as I'm just freaking out, James decides, okay, so he takes the bowl off his head and puts it on mine. Bad idea. Fucking bad idea, because my first reaction was, oh, hey, let's see what this thing looks like if it was inside out. Wait, how am I going to do that? I'll do it with my forehead. So I began to headbutt this thing inside out. And 2 security guards, James, and a couple other people trying to wrestle this thing out of my hands, and I'm still trying to beat the hell out of it with my head. A lot of people had a hard time forgetting me after that.
That is awesome. That is amazing.
And I don't want to make it like the one thing that's happened in my life that I always cling to, but it's honestly, there's times I completely forget that happened. You know, I ran into somebody that I knew really, really close back then. Like, hey, you remember Vader? I'm like, oh shit, that's right. It was during Origin.
Right, I put a salad bowl on my head.
Yeah. So after that, I started frequenting a lot of other shows, and at one point, I run into a guy in the town I was in at the time, Willits. This guy AJ Johnson, and we bullshitted for a little bit, and carried on with the day, whatnot. But fast forward a few months later, I'm outside just having a smoke, and then all of a sudden, dude, I know you. Like, what the fuck? And it's AJ with his drummer, and that man happened to turn out to be Austin Spence, and we exchanged email addresses, phone numbers, and kept in contact. Then next thing I know, I'm in the room with them, and since the PA wasn't working, the wire to the microphone was completely chewed in half. How that happened, they don't know. They didn't give a shit. My first thought was, okay, well, let me at least hear him and see what I think, and I'll crack open this case of beer, and we'll see if I can actually hang out and party with him, because if I can't get along with him, what the fuck is the point?
Right.
And jokes and insults were thrown just out of pure fun, and their bass player, Louie, he was a hard shell to crack, but I cracked it real quick, real easy, and he quite literally, after what the fuck ever it was I said, I don't remember, but he goes, man, eat a dick, and I went, okay, well, if I did that, bitch, I'd put your ass in the unemployment line.
Right. That's awesome.
It was one of those, he had nothing after that, and he's like, well, fuck it, he's got my respect. Yeah. And they decided to go take a break, and I was like, no, before you set the guitar down, let me try that out. And they heard me overpowering the amp with my voice. So I was automatically shooed right in as that we're keeping this guy. So after months and years of touring and going all over the place, shit fell apart. And within the next 2 weeks, Austin and I had met up with Lauren Pike and Luke Boutier from Embryonic Devourment. And they solidified us damn near that night as the 2 new members. So they had a complete full lineup. And the trail and the path just kept just continuing on.
Right. I was listening to a little bit. Of embryonic devourment, and it's there. Like I can hear. Like I said, I can hear you in it, and it just magnifies the songs. Like,
which one did you listen to? Out of curiosity.
Cried. I ran through them all. I'm so sorry.
Okay,
I couldn't tell you.
Here's another fun fact. I'm actually only on one of their albums.
Oh, okay. That's a reason.
Yeah. I recorded the album Beheaded by Volition with them back in 2002, 2003. A lot of shit's a blur, so it's kind of hard to remember exactly. But all the same, that one, I was fucking proud of it from day one.
There you go. That's awesome. What about Mummification?
Okay, that one, slight bit of an interesting story. Because originally I was hired on as their bassist. And between work schedule and just everybody else's schedule, it just didn't match up. And I bowed out, not very gracefully, but I bowed out and whatnot. But eventually, at some point, there was some tribulations with the vocalist, and they asked me to step in his absence. And he was gone for a good 10 years. But when he returned, everything was good. So the only problem is about 5 years into that 10-year period, they kind of disbanded for a little bit, and I just kind of kept moving forward. And I was never on any albums with them, but I was their live vocalist for quite a while.
Rip.
Yeah. And the vocalist even wrote a fucking song about me.
What?
Yeah. Called Johnny Corpse Walker.
Oh, wow.
It was an inside joke. When I was in my 20s, I periodically would sleepwalk, and I literally lingered around the house like a corpse.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, again, how does this connect to the Mummification band?
How does it connect?
Yeah.
Well, let's see here. The original vocalist for Mummification was the bassist from Ciribus.
Mm-hmm.
And Austin was also featured on drums from Ciribus over to Mummification. They eventually picked up another guitar player named Adam Weber.
Nice. I know the guy.
Yeah, he's been a longtime friend of mine. The dear friend, brother. I fucking love him. My mother even considers him her son she never had.
He's a part of the metal scene, isn't he? Just like you.
He's currently in the band Infex.
Yes, I thought that sounded familiar.
Yeah, he's with Infex, playing alongside of a couple good friends of mine, RC Morton Mainstein, amazing bass player, all around amazing dude, one of the best people I know, and the founder of the band, Jack Childs. And Jack's another one of those guys that I take a fucking bullet for any day of the week. Pretty much all those guys. So yeah.
There you go.
And
Metal blood.
Yeah, and I'm not exactly the biggest thrash fan. I dabble with some here and there, but might ruffle a whole lot of feathers. But at one point, a lot of people started saying, "Yeah, I'm going to bring back old school thrash," and they wanted a certain sound. And my first thought was, okay, a lot of the bands back then were going for a higher sound quality than what they were getting.
Right.
They were trying to break away and make it sound high, well produced. And when people are saying, "Oh, I'm bringing back the old school," and they put out these shitty recordings, it's like,
yeah, old school. There's a reason it was old school.
Yeah. And, there's a reason why Exodus sounds better produced today, as well as Testament and all the others, And, although what's funny, when I was working a retail job, Testament and Exodus were about to embark on a North American tour. And I was taking care of business as normal. I was checking some logbooks for some security items. And the guy that's supposed to be my direct supervisor, like, "Hey, where's the card readers at?" I'm like, "Accessory aisle, third tier in, fourth peg down from the right." He's like, "Oh, I don't see it." I'm like, "You motherfucking!" I storm over, just he's like, "It's right here, you rotten, stupid piece of." Huh?
Oh,
and
shit.
I realized who the customer was. Chuck Billy.
Oh shit.
So he and I talked for a minute, and the funny part came when I went to ring him up for it. The store manager came walking by, and she watched the whole transaction, and I was like, "Okay, you paying cash or card?" He goes, "Card." It's like, "All right, cool." And he swipes his card because this is right before the chip came out, and I was like, and I'm supposed to ask for ID and form of payment. And I went, "Okay, let me see your credit card." And he hands it over. It says Chuck Billy Testament. I'm like, "Cool." And I hand it back. And the store manager starts up about how I'm supposed to be checking ID as well. And I was like, "I don't need to."
Right.
And she went, "What? What are you talking about?" So I'm like, "Real quick, hold on. Pardon me, Chuck." And he's like, "Take your time." I pulled up YouTube and I pulled up the video for Souls of Black. Pulled up the video for Souls of Black and went, "Okay, see that guy singing? Look at him and compare." And Chuck is trying his damnedest not to bust up laughing. It was, but no, it was ultimately, he was a really cool fucking guy, and it just, that made the entire day that much funnier and a lot easier to deal with, especially when you're in retail and you have to deal with retail hell.
Retail.
And yeah, he's like, "Yeah, we're about to go on tour. I need to sell merch. Not everybody has cash on hand." I'm like, "Nah, I got you."
There you go. So have you ever had an opportunity to tour with bands as big as Testament and Exodus?
Had the opportunity, yes. Able to, no.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I got you.
There was a 10-year absence from Embryonic devourment on my behalf, and I eventually joined back. Granted, it was for less than a year because there was a ton of issues that I had out here versus them up there. They ended up going on tour in Europe without me.
Oh no.
Yeah, and I'm gonna spare you the depressing details, but it wasn't something that I really admonish at all.
Ugh.
Even to this day. So you can imagine.
Not fun. Some people. So what about? Sorry, go on. I didn't mean.
No.
So what about you threw a message to me when you were telling me some of the bands that you were in. You said a plethora of bands. Can you name 5 just off the bat?
In the same spirit